Hi there, in this video I'll be breaking down my no tools required run and gun camera rig. Now the idea behind this rig was to make it as quick as possible to build my rig out on location instead of building it at home and then not having a safe way to transport it to the shoot. And I also wanted everything to be able to come apart just as easy and to fit into a regular camera bag. Another benefit on top of the compact size is that it's very modular, and if you have multiple camera systems or if you often find yourself renting different cameras for gigs, it's going to be super easy for you to move parts around between different cameras or add or strip away things that you don't need for a specific shoot. So I've tried to keep this build as minimal yet as functional as I possibly could. Now, before we move along to the deep dive into the different parts, I just want to say that I'm going to be listing and link everything down in the description, including some more budget-friendly options when those are available and I deem them to be a good candidate for less money. So without further ado, let's dive into our build. Now the first component of our build here is going to be some sort of camera cage. This is going to be like the base, the foundation of our build, and as you will see, it doesn't really matter what kind of camera model or camera brand you're using. This rig is going to work great for a number of different camera models and brands, so let's not get too hung up that this here is the Sony FX30 with the half cage from Smallrig. But one thing that I want to point out is that most, if not all, Smallrig cages have a built-in Arca Swiss plate here at the base of the cage. And we are going to take full advantage of this little feature here in just a second when we start dealing with how we're going to power this rig with just one single battery. So the first thing we're going to add is this here. This is the Smallrig compact V-mount system. Now this is going to let us use a V-mount battery to power our entire rig. The compact V-mount system uses a quick release archetype mount down here at the bottom, which fits the base of our camera cage, and this is going to make it super easy to mount and adjust and all that fun stuff. And as you can see, it's compact enough so you can let this sit on your camera when you're packing it down in your camera bag for transport. But now let's just make sure we open up the little latch here on the front and slide this onto our camera cage like this. And let's see if we can get this somewhat centered. And now we'll just pull down this little lever here in the front, and we have our V-mount battery system in place like this. Now I want to show you a couple of other features with this V-mount system real quick. There's a second little lever down here, and if we loosen that up, we can adjust the position of the battery plate and extend it a bit from our camera. This is going to be great if you're dealing with a super heavy zoom lens or something, where the center of gravity is going to shift more towards the front, or if you're using a smaller lens or something, then you can slide it in a bit to just fine-tune that center of gravity like that. So I'm going to leave it here because I know for a fact that this rig is going to be slightly front heavy. This, by the way, is my 501 plate. It doesn't come with the plate system here, but what comes with the system is one of these Arca Swiss type plates like this. This means that if you're using a camera cage that don't have a built-in Arca mount at the base, if you're using a bare bones camera without any cages or that kind of stuff, you can still go ahead and use this V-mount system to power your rig. But let's put this aside like this and bring in the camera again. Just gonna make sure I'm using a pretty tight lens here. So let's go ahead and drop our V-mount battery in place here on the rig. This is the Moman 99 watt hour V-mount battery. I can't say it's the best V-mount battery money can buy, but it's certainly a very affordable option. So if you want to get started using V-mount batteries, this is a great option for you. It's got a little display here in the back. There's a D-tap. You can charge this battery with USB-C power delivery. There's power delivery out over USB-C. There's a Type A USB connector, and there's also D-tap, which we will be using in a minute. So let's go ahead and drop this in like so, and it locks in place. If we want to take it out, we just push this lever in here and it releases the V-mount like that. Now I can see the battery on my overhead camera is blinking, so I'm just going to change the battery and I'll be right back in a second. Okay, we're back. So next up on this build is going to be our top handle, and this is by far my favorite top handle from Smallrig. This is the 1955, and it's got a NATO mount system here in the bottom. And if we turn it around on this side here, we have these two little screws, which you can loosen up and move the position of the handle. And this is going to let you find and adjust the handle to get that perfectly balanced rig on the top handle. So yeah, this is by far one of the best investments you can do. And before we put this on the camera itself, I'm going to show you this little thing here. Natively, this top handle has an RE locating connector here on front. I've put an RE locating pin connector to NATO rail here, and it's got these little safety pins here to prevent anything from slipping out past these. Let's put this on our rig here, and I'm just going to slide this over one of these safety stoppers here, and just for a quick second we're going to see if we can find the center of gravity somewhat roughly around here. I know this rig by now, so I know it's going to be just slightly above the little screw here. Now, if you're using a camera cage that don't have a built-in NATO rail on top, I'm going to link to one of these little things here in the description. This might be a bit shorter than what you'd want ideally, because you want to be able to move the handle around just a tiny bit depending on if you're adding handles or other things, so your center of gravity might fluctuate from the center to the sides here. So having a longer one is just going to make it easy for you to set everything up nice and quickly. But okay, so now we have our top handle attached here, and we're going to move this out of the way once more. And I'm going to show you this here, which is also a monitor mount from Smallrig. And this has the same type of NATO quick release system here at the bottom. And we're just going to attach this to our monitor. This here is the OC Lilman 5, which I think is a fantastic little budget-friendly monitor. It's got 1000 nits brightness, so you can use it outdoors without too much trouble. Let's put it onto our camera. So we're gonna push down the first little safety pin here. Oh, let's actually put it on. I prefer to have it this way, by the way, with the locking lever towards me, so I can see that everything is kept nice and secure. So, okay, let's slide it on like this. Push down the second little safety pin there, and then we'll just push the lever to this side, and it's locked in. That's basically the meat of our rig right here. Now we could add a little matte box to this. This is the Smallrig Mini Matte Box Lite. I think it's my favorite matte box, especially for these more compact DSLR style cameras. It doesn't add too much bulk, and I know there's a couple of people out there that kind of poo-poos this matte box because it's only a top flag like this. But what a lot of these people don't know is that it's actually super simple, and I'll show you here in just a second. I'll just get this on the camera first, and we're just gonna slide this on, tighten it down like this. So if you're dealing with a lens that needs a matte box to kind of preserve some of the contrast or the colors of the lens. Loosen up this little screw here on the back of the matte box, and if you're dealing with a side lit scene, then you just turn it this way around, and top flag is now a side flag like that. I think it's a great little compact matte box, and we all know that if you show up to a gig with a matte box on a camera, your client is gonna want to pay you more for your time and your work, right? Okay, so that's pretty much it when it comes to the hardware. Now to plug everything into the V-mount battery here, I'm going to use a D-tap to DC cable here. And this cable is actually a good one, which I highly recommend. It's made by C-tie or something like that. It's a very, very soft and pliable cable, so I feel like it won't stiffen up on you like some cheaper cables can do. The DC side here have a nice little locking ring which you can screw on to whatever it is you're attaching it to, and the D-tap side here also have this little green indicator here that shows you that you've connected it to the right poles and everything, so you don't accidentally fry anything on your equipment when you're plugging things in. Now for powering the actual camera, I decided to stick with power delivery, which I deem to be the safest option. I know there's a lot of people using dummy batteries for their rig, but after seeing a number of people online accidentally frying their cameras by using either bad dummy batteries or maybe the wrong cable or the wrong power source for their dummy batteries, I just felt like I didn't want to worry about that sort of thing, especially since this rig is kind of built to be put together very fast, and you shouldn't be able to or you shouldn't have to worry about flipping cables around and accidentally frying your camera or anything. So I feel like power delivery works great. This here is a braided 100 watt power delivery cable, and you can see that I opted to get these angled connectors here instead of the straight ones, just to keep everything a bit more flush against the camera and the V-mount battery, so I won't be snagging the cables and rip them out or anything like that. That's the cable, and just like with the HDMI cable here, I also opted to get the shortest cable possible, so I don't have to worry about too much cable management and extra cable hanging around dangling. Just to make it as easy as possible to put everything together and rip it apart for transport and all that. So I guess I could show you here real quick. So if we start with the D-tap to DC cable here for the monitor, I'm just going to start by attaching the DC side here on the monitor, give it a few turns like that so it's safe and secure. And yeah, I'm not going to worry too much about cable management on this demo here. Normally I might do this a little a little nicer, but here if we plug in the D-tap here, we're going to have a green light that shows us that everything is set up correctly. Same thing here with our little USB-C power delivery cable. So we're going to remove the flap for the power delivery port here on the V-mount and just attach it like that. I normally go behind the V-mount battery like this just to deal with some of the excess slack, and down here on the camera we just, oh, this is going to be difficult like this, but just plug it into the USB-C like that. And now we have power to both the camera and the monitor here. We can go ahead and turn the monitor on like so. And the last cable is obviously going to be the HDMI cable. Like I said, the shortest cable I could find to get rid of any cable slack and that kind of stuff. So we're just going to plug this in here on the side on the HDMI, and now we should have power to all these different components here. So we can see the monitor is powering up and the camera should be on. If we just lift the flag here, should be able to see a picture. Yeah, I got my ND filter way down, I think. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I know Starting a build like this can be kind of a daunting task, especially if you're just getting into rigging and you're not quite sure what brands to use or what parts and what standards, if you're going to be using bolt-on or things like NATO rails and that kind of stuff. So I hope this video have shown you some of the options available out there and how they work, how they look and feel and all that, and make your life a little bit easier when you're starting your rig build like this. I would be happy to answer any further questions, or if you have suggestions on how I can improve on this rig even more, then please write to me in the comment section. And like I said in the beginning of this video, I've linked and listed everything in the description, so just go ahead and check that out, and you can find the best prices, the best deals on all of these parts. Now, I think that's pretty much it, so I want to thank you once again for watching, and I hope I'll see you in the next one. Okay, bye!